We're live. Let me know if the audio is working. I never know with this. I'm trying the microphone again. It may not have been charged fully last time. So we'll see what happens this time. I got a few things I want to work on. We'll see. I'll wait. See what happens. Wait for the people to arrive. So someone can tell me if the audio is okay. Yeah, let me know if the audio is okay. I'm trying the microphone again. I don't like the phone's microphone, so I'm trying the wireless microphone again. Let me know if I have audio. Okay. I'm just going to start flint napping on something I've been wanting to flint nap on for a while. Hey, Tommy, let me know if the audio is working okay. I guess it is, since you said it was not. I mean, since you didn't say it was not. Okay, FlexGuard says it's okay, loud and clear. Good. It's the same setup with my wireless microphone as the previous time where it was messing up, so I don't know. It may have been not fully charged before. All right, we have Tommy Taylor. Someone called Daily. Hello, hello. This is a flint napping live stream. We are on air. We're going to make some arrowheads. Everything willing. If luck is going to let me do it. I'm just going to start breaking into these different stones. I got several that I want to nap this week. So let's see. Let's just start with this one. I don't know what it is. All I know is it looks like it will be able to be napped. But it also looks like it has some issues with the material just under the cortex. Mike Mason is here. Alrighty. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's working okay. I don't know what stone this is. It's just nappable rock. I don't know where I got it. Yeah. Probably got it at a nap in. It's not obsidian. Some kind of chert. I can nap obsidian if enough people ask me. I can nap some obsidian. This kind of scoops out quite a bit. What am I making? I'm going to make some arrowheads. These are just samples in the background so you know that you don't have to ask what I'm making. Yeah, that's why I put this out here so people won't ask what I'm making. But it didn't work. Let's see. It has some Texas kind of look to it, yeah. Let's see. This is not bad. It's got some concretey areas in it, but it's all right. Yeah. It's okay. It's a Friday night live stream. So I'm going to try to look at the chat. I will try. Stidley Designs is here. Larry is here. Fluffy says, isn't it really hard to nap obsidian? No, it's not hard, actually. Let's see. I have some. I got some as a gift. We can try that, too. I don't have to nap the thing I started with. This might not be obsidian, though, on this particular It said WCW or WOW or something on it. I don't know what that says. This might not be Obsidian. Okay, there's a piece of Obsidian right here. Let's see. Okay, this stuff is not nappable. At first glance, it probably does not, but this stuff is. And I'll show you that Obsidian is not that bad to nap. Okay. See how easy that is? You see that? Piece of cake. Yeah? No? It looks nasty. Is it see-through? No, that is black butter Obsidian. Nice, but it's not like dacite. There are different grades of black butter. Some of it's more grainy or more dacite-y than others. This one looks like it's very glossy. Very high grade stuff and jet black, except just around the edges, slightly translucent. That's kind of a rare type. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's not hard to nap. Okay, so for those of you, or the person who asked, Obsidian's not difficult to nap. How rare is it to find Obsidian? It depends where you live. If you live in Oregon or Northern California, it's not hard at all. But if you live in Vermont, it's impossible. It depends where you live. Yeah. If you live in Greece, yeah, that country called Greece, there's a lot of Obsidian over there, so it's not hard there. But if you live in a country like, which country does not have Obsidian? Spain? Then it's extremely difficult to find it. Okay? All right. But you can find Obsidian in rock shops. You go to a place that sells crystals, they might have Obsidian. And you can find pieces like this. And you can make arrowheads out of it. Or you can get clever and find black glass. What about the Balkans? The Balkans are a mixed bag. I hear that sometimes they can find flint over there in the Balkans. But you have to know people who have land and then go explore. I think there's, like Armenia has Obsidian. That's not in the, I don't know if that's the Balkans. I'm not that great on geography. I know there's Obsidian in Armenia. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of people that have commented on my channel about Obsidian from Eastern Europe, Southern Europe, and places like Greece, the Greek islands, Italy. I'm trying to think. I can't remember. Daly says, I live in Mississippi, so I have to order all my Obsidian. Yeah. Do you have diamonds? Well, not for napping. I have some diamonds, yeah, but it's in the jewelry. And it's not my jewelry. I don't know what to do with it because I inherited it from my parents or whatever. Anyway. Unexpected finds. My dad passed away about a year ago, and I looked through a bunch of stuff, and there were some old rings, and I think they're diamond rings. But yeah, you can't nap diamonds very easily, I don't think. What are you making? Just look in the background. You background people, do you ever look in the background of videos? Not everyone looks in the background. You'll notice what's in the background. And that usually answers the questions. But I can also write it down and say, let's see, I can do this. I am a flint napper. Okay. I make arrowheads. Now, they don't all have to be arrowheads. Arrowheads, spear points, knives, knife blades, and at ladle dart points. At ladle dart points. Yeah. So we do that too. We'll just put that there. Since the pictures of arrowheads don't tell you what's going on, maybe you can read that. Because there's a lot of new people usually, and I can't answer all the questions. I'm not trying to be a smartass, although that's what it looks like. Anyways, I just napped this to show that it's not hard to nap obsidian. But I started napping this. This is what I really want to start. This is what I really want to finish. This piece of chert. And chert is a lot like flint, except chert forms within limestone and flint forms within chalk. Hey, Bushy's here. New York Indians used Herkimer diamonds to nap into points. I see. Well, Bushy, if you got some Herkimer diamonds, don't hold out on us, man. Yeah. Let's see. Somebody was Albania. Let's see. User says, do you need anything to be able to do that with the equipment? Yeah, I have a video on my tools. I just uploaded a short video on my tools. And you can look at that video. It'll show you my tools. Wait a second. What happened to the lighting? Okay, good. Dang. No, I'm checking the chat, right? And if I hit the wrong spot, the lighting goes crazy. So let's check the chat on a different device. Here we go. I'm taking the time out to not nap so I can take care of questions. Hold on a second. I get diminishing returns the more questions I ask. But I can't see the chat properly through the phone that I'm filming with. So I am going to see if I can see myself live. And I can. So Clyde says, can you teach me how to sharpen a knife? Just go back into my shorts videos and I have a 3-part series on sharpening. One video sharpening with pressure, one video sharpening with percussion, and then a video where I cut deer meat. Those are my last 3 shorts videos. Let's see. This is 4D explained, yes. Jack, greetings from Poland. Hey, Carol Newman from Poland. Awesome. Yeah, this is, I'm showing you Infinity as a side bonus. Mr. Jim is here. Bushy says the snow is 20 inches deep here. Shoveled the roof this week. Dang, we only got about 4 inches right now in where I'm in Vermont. Let's see. Is Buffalo River chert easy to nap? I think so, yes. Especially if it's heat treated. I think this is some Buffalo River. Could be wrong, but it's easy, yeah. I mean, are you thinking of buying some? Just buy small pieces and then find out. You're going to have to invest some money anyway if you want to be a flint napper. Unless all you want to nap is glass. Then everything you get is free, basically. Jared's here. What up? Take an obsidian piece and cut a piece of paper. How about plastic? Maybe you've seen plastic being cut 1,000 times with obsidian. Let's see. I wish I had a third hand. Oh, wait, I can just hold it behind my knee like I do everything else. And see if this cuts. Dang it, it cuts. Does it cut paper? I wonder. Paper's kind of hard. I don't know. It's hard to cut paper, I think. Let's see. Wait, I cut that with my finger. See, I cut it with my finger. But let's see if obsidian cuts it, because you never know. Yeah, it does. I think we have people that are young, and I'm not making fun of you. I just think it's funny. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just making fun of the words. Anyways, I think we do have young people that watch these shorts videos. So I have videos on my tools. I'm uploading short videos now that are instructional. So just go back into my channel. All right, what do we got? You can shave leather boots. Mike Mason, yeah. You said that before in the last live stream. Daly says I bought about 3 pounds of Buffalo River, and you haven't napped it yet? 3 pounds? You should start napping it. Miss Sarah says I'm from Ireland. Where I live, it's predominantly granite and some limestone. If you go to Scotland, they have nappable materials there. I don't know how easy it is for you to travel to Scotland. You can also travel to South England and find nappable materials there too. I don't know about Ireland. I don't think they have very many nappable materials that you can pick up for free. Classy says I'm obsessed with native artifacts. Yeah, welcome to the addiction and the obsession. Please save boots or shave the boots, you probably mean. Hey, Marty's here, Buckskin NYB. I saw you napping on your videos today. Yeah, I saw you napping some stuff. I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to chat too much today. I'm trying to do some napping. Oops. Come on. I'm using a technique that I developed, okay? So it might not be what you're used to, you new guys. I just looked at the stats again today, and 96% of people on these live streams are brand new to my channel. 96%. So that's why I put this stuff in the background, okay? There's arrowheads there. I'm a flint napper. I make arrowheads and this kind of stuff. And these are patterns that I use back there. They're in a case. And we're on the air. Yeah. In case you stumbled in to somewhere where you didn't think you were on the air. Everyone can see your chat, your comments. In case you didn't know. I do have a moderator on Friday nights, but I'm not sure if Michael's here yet. So I'll be looking, I'll be watching you. Let's see. Let me advance the chat all the way to the end on my filming phone. Make a Mitsubishi Arrowhead is just 3 triangles. Okay. Yeah, you can use deer horn to do this. Yeah. See, I use copper rod now, but I started with this kind of stuff. This is a deer antler with a little piece of wood stuck in the bottom so I can hold it behind my knee. That's how I started. But I'm just using copper rods these days. But yeah, you can use this. I have videos where I use antler. I have over 2,000 videos. I should put that on there, on this little note. Anyways, I don't want to brag. It sounds like I'm bragging when I say that. But yeah, if you think you might want to see something, just type it in as a search, Jack Crafty, and then blah, 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 whatever you think you might want to see. I might have a video on it. Yeah. Do they work the same? No, copper does not work the same as antler. Not even close. Antler is a pain to work with, a royal pain. Anyone who says it's not is lying. Okay? Maybe they're already used to it, and maybe they don't have a problem with it because they've been napping with it for 20 years. And they'll say, no, there's no problem at all. Yeah, they've been napping with it for 20 years. But if you've been napping with it for 2 years, it's a pain in the butt. It's a royal pain. I've been napping on and off with antlers and hammerstones for 15 years, and I still think it's a pain. Okay? How did they do it back in the day? With lots of pain and suffering, just like everything else. How did they build houses back in the day? With lots of pain and suffering. How did they raise children and feed their children? With lots of pain and suffering. How did they go hunting and all that, and fishing? With lots of pain and suffering. Everything back in the day was with lots of pain and suffering. How do they survive the winters? With lots of pain and suffering. We have it easy these days. We live in industrialized societies. How did they live without industry? With lots of pain and suffering. That's the answer to every question. Some people don't want to hear that because they're thinking that it was so much better back in the day because everything was organic food, plenty of animals everywhere, no air pollution, no plastics in the environment. But just look at the average lifespan. There was also no advanced surgery. There was no removing of tumors. As an example, there was no fixing severely broken bones. There was no knee replacements. No vaccines that worked, actually. Some vaccines work, yes. We live in a day and age now where the medical care is starting to get sketchy. I remember, I'm 62 years old. I remember when medical care was actually good. Now it's sketchy. But anyways, back in the day, they didn't have a lot of advanced stuff, so they suffered. And they did manage to make beautiful things, even with all the suffering. Yeah, very skilled people. The more people that get involved in doing something, the chances are one of those things is going to be beautiful. Someone's going to be the artiste. Let's see. No drinking age? Yeah, but there was nothing to drink. There's no alcohol either. They had fermented stuff, but it was like, it was either vinegar or it made you really sick. They would get intoxicated with other things. If you're lucky, you could get some vinegar from fermented fruits. Making fancy alcoholic beverages was not a thing back in the day. Not in the Stone Age, anyway. But they did make vinegar back in the Stone Age. Yeah. And sometimes the fruits would ferment in your belly. That was a thing sometimes. Let's see. And who says there was no drinking age? If you were a dad back in the day and your children were starting to get into bad things, you would say, you're not drinking until you get married. That's your drinking age. Because you're going to need it. But until then, off limits. Yeah, but Dad, I've already lived past most guys living, most guys' lifespan. Yeah, but you're not married yet. You don't get to drink nothing. Because I don't got no grandchildren, you don't get none of this. So that was the drinking age. Yeah. You mean if I get married and my wife has a child, you let me drink? Give me some of that? Oh yes. Cool. So is this working out well? It's not working out that great. Yeah, we're talking about, this is a Stone Age skill. Stone Age. So yeah, I am talking about way further back. Back in the day, because when people were using antlers to flint knap, it was way back in the day. In the Stone Age. Hammer stones and antlers. What is this? Oh yeah, I got sent this. I don't know if that'll nap. Let me put that back in the box for later. They used to use this kind of stuff back in the day. Wait. There's a billet. Billet. Hammerstones. Yeah. I have used those before, and they are a pain. Lots of pain and suffering. I have got a channel that has nothing but natural tools. But using copper and indirect percussion especially is a lot less painful than trying to use those things. Just saying, okay? I'm just being honest. This is not working well. I've got what they call concrete. See how it's messing up a lot? And I've been doing this 15 years. I still mess this up because it's not easy. And I'm using one of the most powerful techniques, this indirect percussion stuff. And I still have trouble breaking through this stone in order to get it nice and thin. Come on. I'm trying to knock that off of there, and all I'm getting is copper deposited onto the stone. I should go back to napping that piece of obsidian. I should go back to napping this, because this is like, this obsidian is like sliding downhill on a nice gentle slope in the winter. This one here is like riding a bike with a metal seat down a bumpy rocky trail downhill. Okay, this is a bumpy rocky trail on a bicycle with a metal seat. This is like a fancy sled on a gentle snowy slope. That's the difference. This is sweet. This rattles your teeth when you hit it. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, but I'm going to see if I can get through this. Some of this is good material and some of it isn't. It's like believe it or not, that's the worst combination, because you don't know if it's going to work at all. You have no way of knowing if it's going to work. It tries to do it. See that? It tried, when I hit through a nice spot, try to get through that mess. It tried to do it but it stopped. This mess stopped it very fast. Yeah, I can hit on the front of that. We call that a step fracture. I can hit the front of that. Yeah, like that. See if I can knock it down. A lot of people, that's all they have available to Flintnap is this kind of stuff that's nasty. So they want to see it. How do you deal with the nasty stuff? And don't say a lot of pain and suffering, because it's not the Stone Age. Yeah, well, it's a Stone Age skill, so pain and suffering often does rear its ugly head with the Stone Age type of skills. Yeah. I got some chips in my mouth just then. Yeah, I just showered my face with little chips and I got some in my mouth. But just little bitty grains, like on a windy day on a beach. You start laughing on a windy day at the beach and you get a bunch of sand in your mouth. Right? I say that because I don't like beaches. Other people say, nah. Yeah, it happens, dude, but nobody cares. I care because I don't like beaches. All right, so we're beating this to death. We're almost there. We're almost to the point where we can sharpen it or make something out of it. It's starting to develop a curve, however. So it's not going all that well. I'm just trying to run some flakes across it. Yeah. Trying to get it thinned down. Yep. Still, it doesn't want to cooperate. No. And some people hate the suffering. They want to see a high performance art. With all this stuff in the background, I should be able to absorb its energy into what I'm doing and make something beautiful. Yeah. Oh well. It depends on the rocks. A lot of it does depend on the rocks. So I'm just going to keep at it and see if I can thin it down. If not, I'm going to move on. I'll just stop if it's too difficult to get it to the point where I can sharpen it and make it look good. Did it do it? I think that did it. At least near the tip. It's all wonky. Let's fix that. It's too thick up here. All right, ready? Some of it naps really nice, some of it doesn't. Luckily, at the tip, we don't have any concrete, so we don't have this lighter colored concrete stuff at the tip, which is good. At least there's not much nastiness, and I can sharpen that tip. Make the tip pointy. Let's see. Axel says hi. Walker Green. Bah humbug. Somebody said bah humbug. Where's my moderator? People that say bah humbug. I don't know. You need more Christmas spirit. Yeah. Yeah, we can goof around if you want. I don't care. I'm just kidding about the moderator. I don't know. Is Michael in the house? Someone tell me. Yep, Michael's in the house. If there are Scrooges in the house, give him a warning. Yep. Oh man, this is... Don't worry, I'll beat it to death. Yes, I will. I've been here and done this many times. I have been known to completely pulverize the rocks if they don't cooperate. So we are going to make an arrowhead out of a very difficult piece. If it works out, we're going to make an arrowhead out of a very difficult piece. Yeah, you cannot guarantee though. In Flintnapping, it's try or try not. There is no do. Cannot guarantee it. There is no do. People just say, if they don't know about Flintnapping, they just say, just do it. Just do it. Just do it, dude. Do it. You're doing it. Just, continue to do it. I wish it was that easy. All right, cross my fingers on this one. Okay. No, yes, it did. All right. Now it's, I think we have reached the point where we can sharpen this. Yeah. And I did some fast sharpening on two of my recent videos, recent short videos. So it only takes you 3 minutes each to see how to quick sharpen. But I'm not going to quick sharpen this. I'm going to try a little bit better sharpening. After I get it thinner. Yes, I still have some issues with it. There's still some places where I would prefer it not to have a step fracture. That's a step fracture. I need a little Christmas tree in my background. Yeah. Just pretend those are Christmas trees back there for now. I made this on a live stream recently. Can that double as a Christmas tree? It kind of looks like one. No? Maybe? Sometimes? That'll double as a Christmas tree. Yeah, come on. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, we can make this into something now. I don't care. I'll just make it into something. It's not perfect. Let's see. Do it like they did back in the day. And people, sometimes they get flabbergasted that I'll make something this nasty. You made that? Yeah. How many of those do you make? You make them all like that? No, I don't make them all like this. But you made it? Yeah, I made it. Why? It was because it was hard. You made it because it was hard to make it? That doesn't make no sense. I know, isn't it? Isn't that weird? I've had conversations similar to that with people. Not quite like that, but you know what I mean. Sometimes you can read on their faces what they're thinking. And some people say, I shouldn't even bother with knapping a piece of stone that's not going to cooperate. Why waste your time? Why waste your time on something that's not going to work? Don't make no sense. Well, tell that to all the new people that's all they got. Tell that to everyone that's all they got to work with. Yeah. Is that what you tell them too? Or just people making YouTube videos? Yeah. The ones that are trying to teach others how to do it. And you're sitting there going, why do you use something that's not good? You're wasting your time. I want to see performance art, dude. Performance art. Oh well. I guess you'll just have to go watch something else. Go watch some ballerinas or something. It seems to be more up your alley anyway. Okay, so I got to fix this down here. This looks too nasty to do anything with. With just these simple pressure flakes, I got to use some. I got to use some a little bit stronger coercion on these thick, nasty areas that they still look all crackly. So, but I'm gonna go down from a 3/8 inch down to a 5/16 inch diameter. Yeah, and I don't know what that is for you guys in the UK in millimeters. How much is that in millimeters? 5/16 is like it's 8 millimeter. 8 millimeter for this one, and for this one, it's like 10 millimeter. So 10 millimeter and 8 millimeter. I have nothing against millimeter. I just forget to tell people what it is. I'm always using the old method with inches. Yay! Thanks. Thanks for respect for being focused and patient. Yeah. Thanks for saying that. I try. But I've been here many times, so I do have some practice doing this on nasty material. I do rock challenges. You can type in Jack Crafty Rock Challenge and you'll be able to see a bunch of videos where I nap stuff that people have sent me to see if I can nap it or see what it looks like being napped. Okay, so I got rid of all the nasty stuff around the edges. So it just needs to be sharpened, and I'll put in some notches. Yeah, or I just put a stem. I haven't made one with a big stem in a long time. That one has a stem on it, but it's a short stem. I haven't made one with a long stem in a while. But I personally don't like them with long stems. But it'd be the easiest thing to do in this case. Let me see, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to... I don't know. Oh, I took down some videos I just uploaded because I tried doing the vertical format in a long form video and divide it into segments. Nobody was watching those videos. And I don't know if it was because of the format or if it was because of I was napping glass, which is kind of boring, or what. Or maybe it was me in the way I was talking. I was annoyed at the way I was talking because I was just kind of goofing around. It was supposed to be a tutorial. So I deleted the whole series. I annoyed myself with those videos, so I just deleted them. Because it's my party and I can delete if I want to. Yeah. I'm going to thin this down a little bit more. Okay. So just bear with me. If it doesn't work, it's your fault. Yeah. Let's see if I can do it. See if I can walk it down. I tried to start from the up here and then walk it down. It works well in many cases that way. Yeah, that's not bad. Come on. No, it's sliding. Okay, shall we try for some more thinning? Maybe. I'm getting too confident. Yeah, I don't know. I could thin it a little bit more. I should just leave it. I've been here many times where I could just stop and it would be good, and I don't stop. I just keep going and going and going and get more and more aggravated. Yeah. It's got step fractures in it and stuff. I can try to pick those out. And then if they don't pick out, I'm just going to call it good. Say, no, that's it. If they pick out, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. I'm using the spatula, what I call spatula tool. And I'm just picking at this stuff and see if I can get rid of it. Now, I have something called a Notchmatic, which is a spring-loaded flaker that is good at removing step fractures, but it's not going to work that well on these because of the concrete. There's just not much you can do about concrete. It just refuses to nap. Same on this side. It just refuses to nap. So I can try for more thinning flakes, but if I'm going to hit into concrete, you can probably guess what's going to happen. It's going to look like this. I tried a nice long flake from this side, but as soon as it hit the concrete, it said, nope, that's it, man. That's it. What do you expect? What do you want from me, dude? Says, yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yes. You can haft it just like this with a little bit of sharpening. It's good for a spear point. That little dart point, whatever. It's a little bit thick for that one. It's just right for that one. That's the Goldilocks foreshaft. Everything fits into this one. Yeah. So you can just use a lot of glue, and you don't even need to wrap it except on the wood so it doesn't split when it hits. But yeah, just use a lot of glue, and you don't even need to have notches on these. And there's a lot of artifacts that have just the teardrop shape, and that's it. But let's put some notches. How about some notches like this one back here? Just some basil notches. Yeah, basil. I like basil. I like oregano. I like basil. I like garlic. No, not that basil. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so this is going to be the boring part. You guys can go. Yep. You're dismissed. Okay. So, how do you know how wide to make the stems? That's funny you should ask that question. I was just thinking about that. You must be reading my mind. Usually you look at the width of the wood on the foreshaft, and lo and behold, I don't know how I do it, but it matches. So if you make the if you make the stem exactly the same width as the foreshaft, when you wrap it, it's very strong. And you don't need much glue. Okay, so that's how they would determine width of the stem in many cases. They make a bunch of these ahead of time, or they get their son, you know, the flint knapper will get his son to make a bunch of these. Dad, how many foreshafts you need today? Well, I don't need them today. Just at the end of the week, I need 5. So he makes 5 of these all the same. And then when I make my points, they got to fit in there. So that's how I judge the stem. Now, of course, you can modify the foreshafts and all that and mix and match and all that, but you got to save time. Time is not something that people used to have a lot of, even though you might think so. You got to spend time doing other things that people nowadays don't have to spend time on. Back in the day, you had to spend time to go get water. Yeah. Not everyone would drink out of the river because sometimes the nasty people upstream would go poop in the river, so you had to go down to the stream or dig a little well or something. Or go to the spring, bring back water every day. You're not going to be flint napping if you got to go get the water. And if someone needs to take a shower or take a bath or whatever, because goodness knows, maybe they got sprayed by a skunk. What are you going to do? You can throw them in the river, but it's best if you prepare a nice solution. I don't know what they used to use back in the day to get rid of the smell. As an example, you know, we just take it for granted these days that there's plenty of time. Anyways. I'm trying to crunch in these notches. I'm going to use a Notchmatic, that way you guys can see. This stuff is way too thick. I've got what I call or what Ted Snyder calls his Notchmatic. You can buy these from Ted Snyder. It's a spring-loaded punch. And I filed this down specifically for notching, but I need to fix that because it's got a little burr on it. All right. I'm just going to file it down a little bit. See, it's got a little burr. It starts to mushroom because it's just mild steel. It's not a high-strength steel. I'm going to use this to punch the notches out because I don't want to spend all day trying to crunch them with the pressure flaker. And this is very powerful, this tool, even though it looks kind of weak. It'll punch out these pop-outs. See that? I just went straight down almost. It'll pop these out. Then you flip it over and pop it out again. And just keep going, making sure it's not too delicate. So you scratch off some of the delicate areas and then you can pop the next one out. Almost straight down. Yeah, like that. So much easier than trying to pressure flake with a lot of pain and suffering. I'm ruining my pants. Can't have that. These are my most excellent pants. Not really. It's just, it gets itchy. If I get little rock pieces stuck in my knee, it just gets itchy. All right. Did it work? Almost. Sometimes it's still too thick even for Notchmatic. Yeah, it's too thick on this side even for the Notchmatic. I stalled it pretty good. So I might have to widen out this notch. I might have to. Yep. Make this more thin. It grabs the edge better when it's a little bit thinner. Not too thin because then it doesn't work right. Let's see if I can pop out something. Yes. Miracle. I mean it. That was lucky. All right, well now we can use the Notchmatic. Ted Snyder sometimes is in the chat. I don't know if he's here tonight. Let's see. Let's do some more punching with the spring-loaded punch. Ooh, that one did not sound good. That one sounded good. That was a big old pop out. Dang. Hey, Sal, Blades and Points, $4.99. What is going on here? The Nacho Fund. Yeah, this thing cost me a ton of money. Really? No, actually, I got it for free. But they're like 20 bucks. I have purchased a couple of these in the past because I go through tools like nobody's business. Yeah, I wear through the tools very fast. So I have purchased from Ted a couple of them. But that particular one, I think I got it for free as a sample back in the day. Let's see. How long ago was it? It wasn't that long ago, but it seems like a long time ago. All right, I'm going to try to finish this with the spatula tool. I like Nacho and everything, but I can be a little bit more precise with the spatula tool, although I think I might have overshot. Yeah, I overshot that one. See, it popped it out, but then it went to the side here and took off some of the side. Right there. See how it dips down right there, and that's the overshot, and it comes back up. So now I'm not symmetrical. See the two different barbs? The two barbs look different now. Yeah. But at least I got a good pop out. Pop out. All right, so let's a little bit more depth, and then we'll be done with the notching. Why more depth? Because back in the day, they used to torture themselves. In addition to life being a pain and suffering, they would add extra pain and torture with the notching. Yeah. Don't ask me why. Maybe the guys that like pain and suffering are the ones that survived. So then they added it to everything like spices. Yeah. It's a spice of life. The pain and suffering. Deep notches. Deep, difficult notches. Yeah. Anyways. Come on. I just don't want it to be stalled at the bottom. I think it's good enough. So you just need to make it good enough to wrap something securely. Yeah. That'll wrap securely. And sometimes it would wrap up on the blade too. When you see a constriction up here, I'll show you. They don't always wrap around the stem. Sometimes they wrap around the blade. Especially when you see some constriction up here on the blade. Do I have some sinew? Oh yeah, I do have sinew. Maybe I'll show you. I don't know if I should though. I'll show you some wrapping that I've seen before on artifacts. Where they wrap it up on the blade as well as on the stem. But they put a constriction on the sides here for the wrapping. Because sometimes you'll see a little bit of grinding up here, or it's not as sharp there as it is on the rest of the blade. It's a dead giveaway. It also gives you a chance to thin the blade down a little bit more. thinner blades are better at cutting. Where am I? Here I am. Let's see. Let's try not to mess this up, okay? Nice. Yes. Almost. It's almost messing it up. And you might ask yourself, is this the same angle every time? Am I using the same angle to strike these flakes off every time? And the answer is absolutely not. In fact, it's slightly different with each flake when it's a random flaking pattern. Every flake is different. I'm going to take this opportunity to thin it a little bit. Now that I'm putting some constriction on the sides here, I'm going to take this opportunity to try to thin it. This side is pretty thin, and it'll sharpen up okay. But this side's got some bulkiness to it, and I want to try to thin down. Yeah, and I already put the notches in. But they used to do this back in the day. Sometimes they would finish out the blade after installing the notches. Yes, sometimes they would do it. Because they were insane. You thought all of those guys were sane and perfectly mentally healthy? The reason why I say that is because sometimes thinning the blade, you can pop off one of the barbs or whatever. But it worked. Luckily. Yeah. All right. Let's finish sharpening it. I'll pick out some of this stuff. Not all the flakes ended in nice terminations, so try to pick out incomplete flaking. Wait a second, let me try something. I might be able to get rid of this nasty mess here. Maybe. See how wonky that edge is? I can use that to my advantage, believe it or not. Because it gets me close to the obstacle. This is the only time that I prepare these areas to strike, is at the last stage. Because it requires some focus. And I don't burn myself out too soon. I try not to. You don't want to burn yourself out before the end because you got to save yourself for the sharpening and the tip work. Yeah, sharpening can be difficult sometimes. Did it do it? Ha! Looks like a little beetle. Looks like a little bug that got removed. Get off there. Perfect. Nice. Good. Awesome. Fantastic. I almost messed it up, though. It almost cracked. See that? It scooped it a little bit right there on this upper side, but it didn't crack. Luckily. Sometimes it'll crack right there on that side of the flake. But luckily, it did not. It's thin enough. All right, so I'm going to finish the edge, and then I'll look for some sinew and see if I can wrap it. Did I bring my water? I was going to bring some water because I hate putting the sinew in my mouth without knowing where it's been. Well, I know where it's been. It's been in the mothballs. Yeah, I use mothballs to store sinew because I don't want any bugs in there. Okay, let's see. Let's finish this edge. I'm going to do some fast sharpening. Yeah, I said I was not going to, but I've already been flintnapping for an hour and I'm still in the same arrowhead. I wanted to do more than one. Come on. There you go. It's not ground down enough. Hold on. If you don't grind it beforehand, it crushes. For those who don't know. And most of you guys, if you're new, you don't know that. Can you see? So I'm not going to talk very much during this stage because it's so easy to mess up the tip, for me anyway, if I get distracted. Now sometimes you can use a Notchmatic to pop those step fractures out. Let's see. I'm just going to check the angle and see if it works. See, the angle on these, if you want to pop these out, you got to make sure you're hitting upward. You can't be hitting straight or inward. So this might work, actually. I might be able to remove some of that step fracture because by setting it there, I am going to be hitting upward so the flake travels over. If I'm hitting like this, the flake will tend to dive in, and if I hit like this, it'll definitely mess it up. Let's see. Let me just try it in the corner here. I don't know. It's tempting, but I don't know. It's concrete. I could just break it by accident. Let's try something else. But that was just a little good explanation for stuff that actually is cooperative. This doesn't look like it's going to cooperate, so let me try to pick that. All right, so I got that. It did pop out some of that by pressing inward and popping upward. Let's see if I can get the other part. See what I'm doing? I'm pushing up against that and pulling upward. It's slowly picking away at it. See that? I'm slowly picking away at it. Slowly picking away. Just going. It started down here. I pick, and hopefully this last pick will get that. No? Yep. The last bit. Nice. All right, that worked better than I thought. I was nervous. I've been known to pick the tips right off. Because, you know, it's when you're doing this and you're doing a lot of pressure, sometimes you snap stuff. Okay, so that's a relief. So it looks better, I think. Let me finish sharpening it and shaping the edge. I keep interrupting myself. Where was I before I very crudely interrupted myself. Mostly downward pressure. I got to keep reminding myself, near the tip, it's mostly downward pressure. Don't try to do nothing fancy. I always try to do something fancy and difficult at the tip, like trying to thin it down, and then I end up overshooting or step fracturing near the tip. I should not be concerned about thinning it down. Maybe some symmetry, but no thinning unless I absolutely have to. Thinning means inward pressure, inward rather than just downward. Sometimes I try to thin the tips out with a lot of inward force, and I have to stop doing that. I'm just shaping it. It does need a little bit of work on getting rid of some mass down here. So that's what I'll try to do. But I have to do it very carefully. Nope. Like that. See that flake is right there. See, I didn't run the flakes from the edge to the edge. I ran them from the tip toward the middle. And that works pretty good a lot of times. And all you gotta do is clean it up afterwards. And I just ran a little flake there, and it step fractured, but I think the tip got thinned down some more. Yeah. And then I just got to clean it up. Cleaning up means use little flakes. Yeah, starting to get too hot. I had the space heater going. Yeah, I sell these. Watch Out asked me, do I sell these? Yeah, I have an auction every Monday on my channel here. It's a video. I upload these. Well, I upload the video showcasing these for sale, and then I announce the winners later on. Every Monday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. I announce the winners at 9 p.m. Eastern time. You have to bid on them. You got to pay for them. We settle the payments and all that kind of stuff by email. You got to send me an email if you win. Unless you've already done business with me, I already have your info. Anyways. Yeah, a lot of these that I do on video go up on the auction. Unless I say specifically it's for somebody else ahead of time. Some of these are for people that send me the material. So in that case, it won't be for sale in the auction, but this is just general material for everybody. I can use this for anything I want. So it's going to be available in the auction if it doesn't break, if I don't break it. The night is still young. I could still break it. I could still break a barb off or whatever. So I'm not beveling it. I'm pushing off flakes from both sides. To sharpen it quickly, the easiest thing is just to bevel it, which means pressing off flakes from only one side, or 90% from one side. Or from one face, I should say. It got very quiet all suddenly because the heater's off, and I gotta focus on this. How's the symmetry? It's okay. It looks all right. This is mostly downward pressure, but there is a little bit of inward, so I can run some longer flakes to thin that. It still looked a little bit thick. Yeah, tests have shown that if you have a nice, very sharp tip, it'll penetrate hides better, especially the ones with thick hair. You need a sharp and preferably a constriction or a needle tip with thick hides full of hair. Yeah. Okay, so almost done. We're almost there. The concrete stuff doesn't get all that sharp. Come on. The concrete stuff doesn't get all that sharp, but still try anyway. The areas that are what I would call concrete, they get all crushed and stuff, and they don't sharpen as well as the flint or chert. But you still got to try, because it's not too bad. Yeah. So I'm bifacially sharpening it, going back and forth. And it is jaggedy, and it's not razor sharp like a razor blade, because a razor blade has very fine, very smooth edges. This is jaggedy like a saw blade. It has saw teeth, which works very well, but you can't say it's razor sharp because it's not the same as a razor. You can't really shave with this kind of stuff. You can cut hair by holding the hair and cut it, but you can't shave with it. All right, so that's what it looks like. I got to put a little bit more of a constriction here. I did not sharpen the barbs, and there's a reason for that. Yeah. Okay. What's the reason? I don't want to. No, a lot of these, like, see that one there? The barbs are not sharp. And I think it's because they don't need to be. It's stronger without sharpening, without pointy barbs. It's stronger. Okay, so let's see if I can wrap this. I wish I had some regular string instead of trying to use sinew, because I forgot the water or the glue. I don't have glue. Oh, let's see. Oh. Be back in a minute. That's glue right there, but I'm not going to use it. Where is my sinew? Okay. This is backstrap sinew. If you don't know what backstrap sinew is, don't worry about it. If you don't know why I say sinew instead of sinew, I don't know. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Am I going to chew on this? No, I don't chew it. I just soak it in my mouth. I wish I would like to, instead of using sinew, use some thread. Let's see. Do I have thread? I might have to go inside. Anyway, this is what they used to use back in the day. It's called asphaltum or bitumen. Bitumen? Yeah, bitumen. But, you know, I have used other things too. What is this? It's gum. I think this is like spruce gum or pine. You melt it down. Yeah. And you mix these two together. You can mix these two, asphaltum and pine, together. Yeah, you can mix them. It works well. It is crackly in wintertime. I've got this. A subscriber sent some of this to me. This is also, I think this is actual pine from Ponderosa pine or something. Pine pitch. Yeah. So I'll be making some glues on video. I just thought I'd show you that because I have it here in my shop just for that purpose. Otherwise, I would not be cluttering my shop with this. Let's see. Maybe I can use the string off of this. Yeah, I'm going to use the string off of this to wrap this. Yeah. Why? Because I want to. You might ask, what is this? This is a little chopper. Yeah, but the blade is too delicate. I put this blade on here to see if it works, and it didn't. See that? The bone I was chopping, I was trying to shape some bone with it, and it ate this chopper for lunch. So I'm gonna have to use a bigger piece. Anyway, that experiment didn't work out, so I will use this cordage to show you how I'm going to wrap this arrowhead. All right. Good? Good. Yes, yes. All right. I see what's going on. I thought I saw what was going on. Stupid Obsidian breaks too easy. Yeah, there it goes. So this is an Adze. It's not an X. It's an Adze, and they did make them this way in the past with the little hole. Okay. And this is good for a one-handed chopper for little projects, especially when you're making arrowheads out of bone. How do I know? I don't know. But yeah, I got to replace this stuff here. Is low quality chert, but it's too low quality. I need something better. And I'll show it on video when I get something better. So you have to bear with me while I unwrap this. Unscheduled unwrapping. And what cordage is this? This is just pure copper. No, copper. Pure cotton. Pure cotton cordage. You can buy this stuff to wrap roasts. You know, the cotton roast wraps. I don't know what it is, but it's 100% cotton for cooking. You wrap your roasts with this. And back in the day, if they didn't have copper, if it didn't have cotton, they would use whatever was similar, bark or whatever, to make cordage. Now, were these at little dart points hafted with cordage and not with sinew? Sometimes, yes. Most of the time with sinew, but I didn't want to mess with my sinew or my sinew. It's a prized possession. But this cotton stuff, you can get it all day long at the Walmart. So it's not as rare as my high-grade backstrap. High-grade backstrap sinew. Why is this sticking? Did I glue it? I think I might have added some glue. I'm going to have to unleash the angry chicken to get this thing done. I think I might have added some glue to this so it wouldn't unravel. Anyway, what do I use for glue on this stuff? I just use regular school glue or Elmer's glue. It's a plant-based glue. And yeah, they did have plant-based glues back in the day. It wasn't all hide glue or all pine pitch or whatever. Some of it was just plant-based sap. And I wrap it down here so it won't split, because it'll tend to split right here between the hole and this little shelf. Okay. Let's make some magic, as the genie would say. The genie in Aladdin. Almost dropped it on the copper. All right. Let's see if I can not be a spaz. Do I have another one that might fit better? Yeah, let's try this one. See, I was going to use that one, but let's try this one. This one is even better. Yeah. Yeah. It's even better. And yeah, I have seen artifacts wrapped. Okay. And they wrap up on the blade in many cases. And they wrap over the top of the wood. No, I'm not going to put too many reps. Well, maybe I will. I just don't want it to get too bulky. You do this with sinew. Okay. And, you know, bison sinew is very long. So you probably need 2 pieces of bison sinew. But it's not only wrapped down here on the stem, it's also wrapped up on the blade. And that's a lot of times you'll see the constrictions on the side of this. And with glue, it's pretty firm. The glue fills all the gaps, so you don't want these flying, what I call flying wraps. There's a lot of glue in there. Supposed to be lots of glue in there if you do it right. You just pretend it's all sinew. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, get the idea? Okay. Why would you wrap on top of the wood? It helps when it impacts to keep it from splitting the haft. And it also covers the glue so the glue doesn't come out. But you can also cover the whole thing over the top with glue. But see, you fill the gaps in between. See those gaps and all that? That's where the glue really helps. It helps to fill all the gaps between the stone and the wood and between the stone and the wrapping. And the wraps above the wood help to make a good transition. Smooth transition. If you want it even smoother, you can put glue over the top of everything. And even if you have wraps here on the blade itself, the main cutting part of the blade is the first third. All the rest is just going to expand the wound. Okay, it doesn't need to be all that sharp down here. Okay, so this is not going to hurt. As long as you don't have too much distance on the blade wrapped with this sinew. You can put notches, of course. Anyway, that's what that would look like. Do I have an example? I might. Of something similar. I might have something similar. As an example in my notes. Yeah, I do. See this one? This has got wrap on the blade. See these? See this? It's a very bad copy of a photograph, copy of a copy of a copy of a photograph, but you can see the wrap up on the blade. Okay? I don't know what the notches on this thing look like. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to this one. But you see the wrap up on the blade? See if I have another one. These don't have the wrap up on the blade because you see how these barbs are outward. But if the barbs are downward, you can wrap up on the blade. So how about this? Anything in here? These are all wrapped on the notches. Yeah. These are all wrapped up on the notches. Okay, so yeah, the only good one I have in this is that one that I showed you earlier, wrapped up on the blade, and it's from the Hafted Humboldt Basil Notch Figure 9. Which one is 9? Oh, I guess the whole thing. Hafted Humboldt Basil Notch Bifaces from Hidden Cave, Nevada. That's a reference. Hidden Cave, Nevada, Figure 160, Figure 62. Okay. Just so I can look it up later, whatever. Okay. Yeah. Can you use it as a knife? I would. I'd use it as a knife. But, it can double as a knife. I know that when Ryan Gill did some experimentation with these as knives, these hafted at little dart points, they didn't like them. Ryan Gill didn't like these little hafted at little dart points as knives. He preferred the bigger ones, like this, as knives. Yeah, which is probably good. Good to know. I would still use it as a knife too, in a pinch. Yeah. All right. So what are we going to do next? What are we going to do? Obsidian. I got 20-something minutes left. Yeah, no, this is not rawhide. This is cordage, right? Did you see the whole process where I wrapped this? This is cotton cordage. I was supposed to use backstrap sinew, but I don't want to put that in my mouth. I was going to get some water earlier, but I forgot to have available in my shop. Have some water available, but I didn't. Okay. What else? Let's do some obsidian. Yeah. Let's see what we can do with this. This is some of my favorite stuff. Jet black, opaque obsidian. It's not transparent at all. It's amazing. Right, hopefully everyone can still hear me. What does obsidian taste like? Tastes like victory. Yeah. It tastes like the lamentation of the women. Let's see. Ralph Snyder says, Patrick, I like the stone tool cutting demo. I'm glad you liked it. It was hard to do that. Yeah. It was really, that was a hard demonstration. I had to practice cutting meat. Yeah. Something so easy attracts a lot of attention. I don't get it. I mean, it's not like you couldn't have guessed the outcome. Right? I mean, they used stone knives for thousands of years. I mean, you could have guessed the outcome. In a day and age where everything's thought experiments and everyone's using their brain to think up stuff before they actually see it, for some reason they can't think of how it would look like to cut meat with a piece of stone. For some reason, their thought experiment don't work with that. I don't get it. But anyway, yeah, I did it because a lot of people ask. That's fine. Perfectly okay. I'm not making fun. I'm just kind of goofing around. Okay, so what am I doing? I've got to make sure I don't mess this up. I'm trying to trim this down nicely so I can take off some thinning flakes. The easy part's over. I'm going to prepare for the hard part now. Thinning down obsidian is not that easy. It's easy to flake, but not easy to stop from breaking. So I pretty much got it to the point where I can start running some thinning flakes. And obsidian usually requires a lot of grinding, lots of grinding. Yeah. Especially when you're using metal like copper. Yeah. And don't ask me to explain the physics behind it because I'll never get the physics correct. I'll leave out a variable. Yeah. There's too many variables to get the physics correct. In a video like this, where everything is off the cuff, I'm just talking off the cuff. A stream of consciousness type of thing. Oh, that was okay. That was pretty good. We got some translucency. That's how thin that got. Yeah. Now, don't do that too often because those tend to overshoot. Stuff that's longer than you thought it was going to be, it's not always a good thing because you can overshoot. It might look nice for a little while until you mess everything up. I'm trying to preserve the size of this thing. I don't want no mess ups. No excessive removal of anything. Minimal removal of material on the edges. So I can preserve the width. And minimal material removal on the ends so I can preserve the length. Because I started with a smaller piece. Yeah. I've been shipping out a lot of stuff this week, so if you're expecting something from me, it probably will be shipped out this week. And it's Friday, so I still have tomorrow. I'm going to ship out a couple things tomorrow, and I should have like 90% of the stuff shipped out that's easy to ship, like rocks and flakes, as an example. Now, I still have some projects I need to finish. But I should be done with most of the rock and flake shipments tomorrow. If not, then I'll just ship it all on Monday. It should be done soon. And then I can get all my, hopefully, all my other projects done before Christmas. I'm not traveling this year, so. See that? It happens every time. Every single time. Yeah. I'm trying to preserve the size of this thing. That's how you learn that's how you learn the limits of the stone. When you mess it up a little bit. Well, I'm not supposed to hit it that hard. Okay. We won't hit it that hard next time. And then watch, it won't do anything. I'll hit it softer and it won't do anything. Or it won't do what it's supposed to do. Yeah, softer hits. Okay. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that. If they go past halfway, which they all did, all of those went past halfway. Those are thinning flakes. Yes. Oops. It's slipping. Well, that reminds me. Someone told me they're going to start using brass, or they are using brass. And I said, you know what? I need to get my brass tools out. Just go for it. Yeah, another napper sent me a message or something, or a comment. He's been using brass. So I need to get some of that out. I've been saying that for a long time. And watch, I'll do some brass on a live stream, and someone would say, "That's all you use? That's the only thing you use? You haven't used anything else except brass?" No, dude, I just started. I mean, I've used it before, but I haven't been using it on video. See, I try to hit more gentle, and it doesn't do it. All right, first stage of thinning is done. Okay, first stage of thinning. Now it's the second stage where it's going to get even thinner, and the mindset changes because now it's got to be more focused on the preparation of the edge. The edge has got to be almost perfect, which means I got to break out the pressure flaker and start the boring stuff. Okay, and this is 2 gloves. Pressure flaking Obsidian requires 2 gloves. Yeah, some people can get away with not using gloves at all, but no. You can get away with it for a little while, but then it comes back to bite you. Literally. So I'm going around, I'm making the edge nice and straight and getting rid of lumps and stuff so that when I grind it down again, it'll be nice and ready. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm going around the whole edge, making the whole edge better. And I can do this in the beginning stages too, you know, earlier than this stage. But I don't like to because it's, for me, it's mentally exhausting to do too much or to do a lot of pressure flaking. I just don't like doing a lot of pressure flaking. In other words, I get sick of it. I don't want to get sick of the pressure flaking. Talking about getting sick of it, I haven't done the Cody points in a while. I need some more nauseating napping. Yeah. I haven't finished my goals on doing Eden points and Scott's Bluffs. I haven't reached my goals yet. So I have to do some more nauseating napping. I've just been waiting and waiting. Yeah, probably I'm waiting until after I get all my projects done. Yeah. That way I can do stuff. I can practice on the side. Yeah. That's the reason, the main reason. I need to practice off camera. So this is just the process of making the edges nice. Making the edges nice. It's not sharpening. It's just eliminating bumps and wonkiness, getting everything straight and nice. Because these thinning flakes that are coming up are very important, and it can become a disaster very quick if I don't do this right. Yep, I said it. I'm not doing it right. See, I can't have any step fractures near the edges. I don't know if you can see. But I had as I'm pressure flaking, I had a step fracture right there, so I had to pop that out of there. I can't have any step fractures anywhere along the edges, anywhere. Everything's got to be nice. I still have not finished making it nice. And yeah, I'll be thinning it down with percussion. So that means after I do this, I got to do a lot of grinding again. Now, some guys can do the thinning at this stage with pressure. They can thin that down with pressure, but I don't like doing it with pressure. Like I said, just don't like it. Did you lose anybody? No, we still got quite a few people interested. Either that or I'm just in the background. Anyways, now that that's done, I'll show you. It's not perfect, right? But it's very, very much improved from the last stage. From the last condition that it was in before I did this stage. Okay, so it's straighter. It's more convex around the edges. There's not many step fractures. It's a lot better to work with than the other material, that rock that had concrete in it. These surfaces are smoother, right? So I should be able to get it nice and thin, but it depends on the Obsidian too. If it's going to be cooperative, yes, I can get it very thin. If it's not cooperative, then oh well. Nothing I can do. Except practice and practice and practice. Microphone. Let me know if the microphone is still good. Let's see. All right. Is this the thin diameter? Yeah. This is the 5/16 or 8mm copper rod. All right, here we go. So I'll be taking some thinning flakes here and there. All the angles are different depending on the conditions. It's not always the same striking angle on the percussion. It depends on the conditions, okay? If it's a thick spot, it's different angle than a thin spot. And these angles, they only vary by a little bit. It's almost imperceptible, the little tweaks. It's not always the same angle every time. I have to say that over and over and over again because people want to know the angle. What is the angle? There is no the angle. Every angle is slightly different depending on the conditions. Come on. That one fooled me. I thought it did not flake. Can you see? I think you can see where these flakes are going. Maybe not. I should probably stop after each flake. But each flake has a different set of initial conditions. And after thousands and thousands of hits, it's just your muscle memory that kind of feels its way through this process. I think it's the same with pressure flaking. If you're going to do a lot of long pressure flakes on a random surface, all the pressure flakes are slightly different also. And you just kind of feel your way through. It doesn't, not all of these flakes are going exactly where I want, okay? There is some randomness and some luck and some mistakes. But the material is cooperative, so I can usually fix something if it didn't run correctly. I can, if it's step fractured or something, I can usually fix it because the material is cooperative. Yeah, like that. I had a step fracture on that particular one that I was able to remove. By striking from the other side. Come on. It wants to be tough sometimes. This stage is different in mindset from the other stages because there's a lot more risk. Yeah, and when I start doing that, that means the edges are getting too thin. But yeah, I'll stop and reassess now what I'm going to do. Yeah, we'll just fix that. So as I'm napping, many times I'm right on the edge of breaking it or causing a mistake like that. I'm right there on a lot of these strikes, and then eventually it catches up with me. And that's when I stop. Yeah. So, hard part is over. Okay, that was the secondary thinning. The hard part is over. Now, does it fit in the foreshaft? Let's see. I got another one here. It's still too thick. Let's see if I can reduce it down a little bit more. I got a little bit of crunchiness in here, but it's all right. Let's see how it fits now. I thinned down the base. Yep, it fits. Amazing. What kind of notches this time? I don't know. Let's do a straight base. Yes, no, I don't know. Work on some symmetry. Grind it. I got to grind it before I do some sharpening. See, it's all kind of wonky now. After those percussion hits, it gets wonky, so I have to take the pressure flaker and clean that all up again like I did on the other stage. But at this point, I can do both cleaning that up and making it straight and sharpening at the same time. Yeah. With Obsidian, it's easy to do that, relatively speaking, because it's cooperative. Obsidian usually lets you do that at the same time. Yeah. What kind of notches? I don't know. Okay, so let's see. It's time to pressure flake it and put in some notches. So how much time do I got left? 1 minute. No, I'm actually going to finish this one, whatever time it takes. Yeah, I'll finish this one out, but I might not talk all that much. We'll see. If it's kind of easy to do this, I'll talk a little bit. Sometimes the Obsidian is not that easy at this stage. to finish it out. Sometimes it'll be all crunchy and crushy, but sometimes it won't be. Like this seems to be not too crunchy. Good. That's good. So it's the same as what I was doing before, but I'm also sharpening it a little bit. Not down here, but on the sides. Here I'm trying to make it nice and even and making it thin, keeping it thin enough to fit in the foreshaft. As I lose length, it gets thicker. The hafting area does change a little bit. As I remove length, I'm going to make this base a little bit flatter, and that changes the shape of this area as far as being able to fit into the hafting slot on the foreshaft. So I'm going to run some thinning flakes. These are relatively long flakes. Wherever I can drive a long flake, it'll be long. These didn't need to be very long on this side, but that one, yeah. This is thicker on this side. Just going to make sure it still fits in. There's a lump right in there that I need to get rid of to fit in here. See, that's blocking me right here, that lump right there. So, let's see. I'm going to remove that lump with some percussion, I think. With a percussion flake. Plan A is from this side, plan B is from the other side. Let's see if that did it. Yes, I think it did it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so then I put notches in. Yes? Yeah, almost time for the notches. Let me fix the sides a little bit first. If I don't fix the sides now, then if I have barbs, it'll be difficult to clean up the barbs, sharpen them up and stuff. So let me fix the sides. Make it straight. The edges on the sides need to be straight for a nice looking point. Okay, let's see. I gotta be careful because it's thin. If I push too hard, I could snap the whole thing. The Obsidian feels like it's not gonna break, but you never know. Yeah, I'll work on the tip later. For now, I'm just going to make sure the sides are straight and maybe even sharpen it a little bit. I don't know. If I can't sharpen it very much, I'm going to have to just regrind it. Am I losing power? Let's see. For some reason, it got dark. The screen is dark. I might be losing power on the screen. Let me switch over to the phone's microphone and plug it in so I don't lose power. I think I'm losing. Let me know if the microphone's still working. I need to, my battery's very low. Hold on. Yeah, it was at 3%. So let me know if the volume is still working. Okay, I unplugged the microphone because I had to plug my phone in. It was losing power, or it was down to 3%. Still working. Okay, awesome. All right. The phone's microphone is not as good, but it's better than having to end the live stream because the battery dies. Volume is okay. Awesome. So let's get this finished. Ah, much better. I had a bunch of dust on my glasses. Or what? I can't tell if it was dust or condensation. Let me turn the heater on. It's starting to get cold again. It's like 38 degrees in here. It's like napping in a freezer. Like one of those big walk-in freezers. Or big walk-in coolers, I should say. All right, so it's almost time to do the notching. I gotta check the symmetry. Are you guys able to see what's going on? I'm having a hard time seeing. So maybe you're having a hard time seeing as well. Okay, so for those of you who are new, this part takes a while because I'm trying to maintain symmetry. You might think it looks okay, but I want it to be the same on all sides. So it takes a little bit of time to get the symmetry right. It's better to do it now than later. Why? Because when I got barbs on it, if it's going to have barbs, I can easily make mistakes and break them off if I'm messing around with it too much after the barbs are in place. I think I want to put sharp barbs on this. Corner notched it with sharp barbs. Pointy barbs. Yeah. Okay, let's see. A little bit of a change in mindset. It's time to reassess where I'm at. I'm gonna clean up a little bit. Notching is a whole different ball game. Okay, so hold on. I need a break before I switch to notching. Okay. Much better. So I'm just going to crunch these notches in. Obsidian is so nice when it comes to notching in most cases. And it doesn't matter when you hear the crunchiness. I usually tell you that it's not good to crunch the edges, but it's okay when you're notching because it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be sharp. If you want to sharpen, you can't hear all those crunchy sounds. Like if you're sharpening the edge, you don't want to hear a lot of crunchy sounds. But when you do notches, it's okay. And just crunch them in, making sure I don't hit the sides, making sure I don't use too much pressure. All right, so I started that one. Now let's do the other one. Let's start the other one. I'll know how deep to go once I get that foreshaft back out and test it. Because I want the neck to be as wide as the wood. So I still got a ways to go. You know what I mean? The neck of the stem has got to be the same width as the wood. And this has to be continuously dressed so you don't have a burr or you don't have a lot of mushrooming going on. Got to take off that mushroomed area. It just makes it more difficult to notch when it's got a little mushroomed area. It does wear down even with obsidian. It does mushroom the metal even with obsidian. You might think the obsidian's too soft, but no, it will mushroom the steel. Some of you might have been here earlier for the Notchmatic. I'm not going to use it on this particular piece. I'm just going to use this, what I call a spatula tool for notching. Simple notches, these are my favorite type of notch, which makes it a little bit easier for me to do quickly since I'm over my time already. I usually do this for 2 hours, do the live stream for 2 hours, but I'm going to extend it for however long it takes to finish it out. Some of these pop-outs are a little bit bigger than the usual. I'll set up for a nice big pop-out, like this one coming up here, like that. See, and then it clears away, makes it thinner, so that when I turn it over, I can just kind of make it less sharp, and then push out another flake like that. Once it gets deep enough, you can pop those out and you don't have to worry too much about removing a barb. Okay, so compare it to the wood. I still got a little ways to go, about 1/8 of an inch on both sides. Now it's easy to stall this stuff if I don't keep an eye on what I'm doing. And if I stall it, then it means I've got to add more pressure to get it unstalled, and that's when I run into problems. How do you not stall it? Just got to make sure you don't crush it too much, and it's hard to explain. But it's important to keep the tool sharp. That helps to make sure you don't crush the edges. It'll help to pull those flakes out of there with a sharp edge on your flaker. And of course I gotta look to see what's the best place to push on it. It gets thicker and thicker as you go inward. One way to overcome the stalling is to widen the notches as you go in. As you go deeper, you can widen the notches. Yeah. So you'll have an expanding notch situation. That's what I'm going to do with this. Just, it makes it easier to drive it further. Okay. This one is getting stalled on this side. See that? So let's borrow from the sides a little bit. When I borrow from the sides, I'm zigzagging it. You can zigzag through the stall. That's a theory anyway. By starting on one side and try to continue the zigzag. I need to change my glasses, yeah. How about if we change the glasses to a higher magnification so I can see what I'm doing? Yeah. So what's the problem here? Why am I stalling? It's such excellent material for notching, and I'm still stalling it. It's because I really couldn't see what I was doing, and I just kept pushing against areas that were not napping. Just keep pushing, keep pushing. You got to push on areas that are going to be napped, that are going to cooperate, and not just keep pushing and pushing no matter what. Yeah, I stalled that pretty good. I'm amazed. I'm amazed how quickly the Obsidian dulls the steel. So it is stalled on this one side, right? So I'll be expanding the notches so I can nap the sides, steal some material from the sides as I go in, and then I'll be able to zigzag that stall. You know what zigzag is, right? Down, flip, chip downward, flip, chip downward, flip, chip downward. Just zigzag the inside of that notch. Yeah. Like that. That's a zig. And then on the other side, do a zag. First, get rid of the delicate area. Zag on the other side. I'm pushing really hard to make sure I get it unstalled. But see how it widens that notch out? And I think I'm okay now. Yeah. That's how to install it without a file. You can file it down and make it thin and then be able to push out another flake. But to do it without a file, the easiest is just to expand the notch and do the zigzagging. Okay, so I expanded that notch and now it's not stalled. There's still some white powdery areas, but that's all right. It's minimal. Now I just got to match it on the other side. Yeah, it's amazing how quickly that gets dull. Okay. It needs to be sharp so you can pull those flakes. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so yeah, part of the issue of stalling is I can't see. So I could actually stall the other side. Stall this side. That would not be good. It's already starting to, so. Come on. Yeah. All right. I can see a step fracture down in there. That's what it is. I'm pushing against a step fracture down in the bottom of the notch. So there was a step fracture there I didn't see earlier. And that'll stop. It'll stop the notching very fast. Okay, did that work? Yes. So what was stopping me on this notch was I didn't see a step fracture down at the bottom of the notch. So I pulled it, I pressed up against the face of the step fracture and popped it out. So now I should be able to continue with the notching. After I did that one pop out just now, I can continue and make it symmetrical. Yeah. So I'm going to work on the outside now. The inside is pretty symmetrical. The inside of the notches. So I'm going to make these barbs sharp, like I was saying earlier. I'm just going to use the same tool. And just use downward pressure to sharpen this, to gently shape it to where the barb becomes more pointy. Okay. Yeah. Pointy barbs. Now let's see. Are the notches deep enough? Yeah, I think that's good enough. Close enough. Now on some artifacts, the bottoms of the notches, they are ground down to be dull. So that is a thing on some of these. But on many of them, I've noticed many artifacts, they don't have ground down areas at the bottom of the notches. I don't know. A lot of them are sharp. So that's close enough to the thickness of the wood. Yeah. Besides, I want to get this finished up. So the only thing left now is to sharpen it. Yeah. That's a good depth of the notch for this particular point. Now I just got to sharpen the tip. See how it's all kind of wonky and lumpy? I'm going to taper that down nice and smooth. Okay? All right. I got to make sure this is nice and sharp for the final tip work. Not too sharp. It's not supposed to be really, really sharp. It just can't have any mushrooming and no dust embedded in the tip. If I want to make sure the flakes go where I want them, try to make sure. It's best to have a nice, clean tool tip for, the fine, extra delicate work. Yeah. All right. Just getting rid of some of the lumps with some just very, very slight inward pressure. And just slowly pick at it. Yeah. This is not as difficult as sharpening a stone. I mean, not a stone, a chert or flint tip. It's so much easier to remove the flakes from the obsidian. But it can still get messed up. Oh, yeah. I've been known to mess them up. even with Obsidian. So it's just like everywhere else as far as the removing the lumps. You know, on all the other parts of the point, just drive a flake into each lump. And hopefully it goes over the top of the lump. It should go over the top of the lump because it likes convexity. So it's not that much of an issue. The main problem I encounter is just making sure I don't step fracture it. Because, you know, theoretically it should go up over the top of the lump, but sometimes it'll step fracture right in front of it. And a lot of that has to do with not grinding it enough. Not grinding the edge properly or enough. You lose power in your flaking when the edge is not ground down enough or ground down properly. Sometimes you'll miss a spot and it looks like you ground it down, but you didn't. That's what I mean by properly. One example is if it's not done properly, it'll look like it's ground down, but it's not. Because you missed that one little area where you're going to put pressure. I'm using the spatula tool now just to shape the edge. And get that symmetry. So yeah, I think that's good enough. Just going to get in there one last, a few more. I can see where I need to remove a flake. No, I'm just going to mess it up. Anyways, I could have removed a flake there. It looked a little bit imbalanced, you know, not symmetrical, but I just ended up crunching it. It's best to have little snaps when you take the flakes off, just little snappy flakes. I ended up not doing a snappy flake up here. It removed that lump, but it didn't do it in a snappy flake way, so to speak. So now I'm just going to go down the edge, looking for dull spots and picking them off with downward pressure. Just downward pressure on the thick spots without driving any flakes. I don't need to drive anything. It doesn't need to be thinner. Okay, so just make it symmetrical and that's it. There it is. So what is it called? What kind of point is this? I don't know. It's just a corner notch point with expanding notches. I just made the last step was to make the tip nice and symmetrical in all directions. This way and that way. Flaking is random. It's got some bold flaking in it. I like it like that. You know, not too much flaking going on. At the tip, it's okay to have a lot of flakes, but on the body of the point, I like to have big flakes. Yeah. All right, so that's it. I would just half this by wrapping with first across there and then with a little crisscross and then down the foreshaft a little bit. All right. there you go. We'll see you guys on Monday. The next live stream is a Monday. If I don't do another video in between, I might sneak in a live stream in between now and Monday. If I don't, I'll see you. If that's all you watch is the live streams, I'll see you on Monday. I'll probably do a long format video this weekend. This time not in the vertical position. I'll do the horizontal long version on something else. Maybe some more Obsidian. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So there you go. That's it. Good to see everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.